and good evening and welcome again to our, whatever this is called, bulletin tonight. Who knows the severe weather, who knows what's going on, but it's just a good chance to catch up and work out what the actual hell is going on with this trash we've got going on. But actually, no, there's some good explanations going on at the moment, I think, and there's definitely some interesting weather to come over the next 36 hours for sure. But hey, hasn't it been freaking cold? Just unbelievably cold. Maxes of 11 to 13 or 14 on the coast today, and mostly in the west, and then up to 16 in some places, which I'm dubious about. Must have got a little bit of sun out there, but it has been so frigid here, and just bone-chillingly cold. It has been for a couple of days, and it's going to continue that way. Certainly not looking like warming up. Maybe a couple of milder days coming ahead, but there's another ginormous cold pool coming up, detached from the polar vortex and screeching this way, whether it gets actually across land or not, but it is even colder than this one. All right, let's hop into it and see what the devil's going on. So here's today's rainfall. We can see some really good falls across some places, especially in that sort of, you can see those lines on the screen. And you can see how they go, basically like in a straight line almost. And that's those sort of rain trains we talk about. And that's where you can see the best falls. But definitely some big falls there, up to 25 to 40 mils in the southeast. It's been, and I can see it's been hammering down here for most of the afternoon. So I'm putting under that sort of orangey colour there. And then you've got another sort of trail between Maroubra, Malabar, around that way, up through just flipping the CBD well to that, and then pushing up through Hornsby. And of course, the northeast up there with the mayor of Freshwater and his mob, especially north of him, been doing incredibly well up there, nearly 80 mils up, especially around home and away. So hopefully Elsa hasn't washed down the beach. Oh, she may not be there anymore. I don't know who's left anymore. Irene, no, she's around somewhere, I think. There's a noise when I talk. Okay. There's noise when I talk. Might be too close to the mic. Might be. I might turn it down a bit. How about that? If that's better noise, let me know. I did actually move the microphone out because I said last night I was too quiet. And now it's too noisy. Can't get either way and work out a distance. Anyway, especially across that north there, you can see some very good falls, especially up into the Sunny Coast too. But what a weird old day. Like models really screwed over again today in that, but I have a bit of a theory about that, and we'll get to that in a minute, because I think it's pretty much to do with the fact of some timing, and I think the models were either 6 to 10 hours ahead or 6 to 12 hours behind, probably behind, I'd say, because you see what we're getting now is actually what they were talking about getting this morning, and so that's about 6 hours, I think. So give or take 6 hours, we pretty need to factor in into anything we're looking at for now. But definitely the surface trough has kicked off and has started to get going, and there's a couple of key features in the satellite picture, so hopefully you can all see that pretty well. But massive amount of features, so let's is the feedback gone or is it still going? Please let me know. The comments are live. It's still crackly, is it? The crackling you can hear in the background is actually lightning from Windy, so you can put that to one side, but is it still crackling itself? Yes, no, let me know in the chat, please. No, I'll continue on. It's all good. I haven't actually moved a bit closer, but I might move it down just a little bit. Turn the volume down a bit better. Is that better? No, it can hardly hear me. Okay, well, it says my mic's on, and I might let you see right next to it. Maybe this might be better. Better that way. It says on the thing, my audio mixer, that's up really loud. It's not the sound level. Sampling issue. I don't have any sampling on there. Is that better? Maybe that's better. I did have the screen capture on for some reason, the sound for that, but still low. What the hell? I'm like literally right in front of it. Maybe we'll move that down. Is that better? Better now? Not better. I like reverb. Okay, I don't actually have any reverb on here. All right, maybe I'll move that back. Maybe that might be what's causing it. Let me see. Oh, that's a headphone one. Maybe that one might be it. Is that better? 1, 2, 1, 2. I can see that the audio mix is still moving quite freely, so it's obviously not that. It sounds like a scratchy delay decay after noise. Interesting. I don't have the on though. Maybe this one might be better. I'm not sure. Try that. Something just happened. Did it happen yesterday? I just wonder if there's maybe some feedback. I don't know. There's nothing I can see that's even different to what the normal setup is, other than I just turn the volume up a bit because someone's here, so it was hard to hear. Don't know. Scratchy delayed noise after you speak. I don't know what that would be. That's bizarre. It didn't happen yesterday, so it's only happening today, and they've done nothing different today. Not sure. Not sure what that is. Anyway, I'll try and work it out. Do some troubleshooting as I go, but I don't know what that is. The thing I've done is move the mic a little bit closer because people said I was too quiet yesterday. It's obviously getting feedback from someone, or something's getting feedback. You'll hear some clicking every now and then, which is actually Windy's lightning thing, but that shouldn't be it, I don't think. Maybe try closing and starting again. If I close, that means the whole stream stops, so probably not. Maybe I might just turn the audio off. Maybe if I restart the audio that way. Better, no. Hello, Naz, welcome. Just trying to work out what's going on here. Yeah, restart the audio, see how that goes. You know, open your stream on your phone. No, I think I'll get feedback. I can try it on my iPad though. Let me just try. Let's go. I don't know how we get onto it. Live. Where's live? Okay. Patreon, let's check this out. Right, let's see. Click on there. This will tell me. I don't think it will actually. I don't have no idea how it's different from yesterday. Alright. One, two. One, two. Yeah, it sounds like I'm typing on it. Doesn't it? It sounds like I'm actually typing. But I'm not typing. That's weird. Yeah, it sounds like I'm typing on it. And it sounds like there was someone talking in the background. It's scary. There's no one here. Why not could be typing like that? What's that clicking noise, I wonder? There's definitely nothing on I can see. That is freaking weird. Oh, actually, I wonder. Just let me try something. I'm just wondering if I've got a window or something open in the background. That could be doing it. Hello, Stormcat. Come down and say hello, everybody. I'm just wondering if that what might be it. Might be something another window open. I don't particularly close that. Let's just close this down. Maybe that might be better. I'm not sure. That is bizarre. Nothing else going on at all. It's exactly the same setup as I had yesterday. Don't know. Yeah, I have checked everything I've got here. I don't want to know a clue what that is up there. That's headphones. What's that one? Maybe that one? I don't know. I'm wondering if there's two microphones active at the moment. Because that would definitely be causing some. That maybe. Is that better? One, two. Try voice isolation now through Google. No, I can't do another restart another live. I have to start a whole complete new link. It's not as easy that with YouTube as it is with Facebook. I think it is. It's the Google setting mic mode, which is standard or voice isolation, and I don't know what normally it's always on voice isolation. For some reason, it decided to go back to normal. Is that better now? Is it? Do you have any of these? Yeah, there's a guy by the name of Freaks. Hello, Trinity, by the way. Nice to meet you. Anyway, let's get back on. We can get back on track now. Apologies for that. I don't know why, but anyway, we've sorted it out, which is the combined intelligence of us all. So good job. All right, so quickly we'll look at this satellite picture and get into the model stuff so we don't muck around anymore. A few interesting features. Okay, so you can see the surface drop here. This is the beast that we've been waiting for. You can see pretty much it aligns with what models were showing us last night. Line off the coast and then hooking back around. The interesting thing is it's a little bit further south than what we saw yesterday as well too. So and we'll look at some of the totals in numerical totals. And I see the Bureau has actually bumped up us for tomorrow quite considerably than it did have previously. So, and thanks to Barry for drawing that to my attention, Mr. Miller there. I think he's in the chat. This is obviously jet stream activity, and it is what's going to help basically kick off things. You can see the incredibly cold air here up to the Tasman, this speckledy sort of snake skin type look. And this is our beast upper low cold pool here. And I want to share that in a minute. It is very cold. It's up to almost -20. And where this beast goes is what's going to determine exactly what happens next. But generally speaking, we're going to see the surface trough develop and obviously kick off. And then as this cold pool approaches, it'll deepen and obviously where that happens is the focus after that. The Bureau is sort of saying in their severe weather warnings that southern mid-north coast Hunter region up extending sort of up into the southern North Tablelands district as well, which is a pretty indication of what they're thinking. But given their models kicked up a bit of rainfall today, well, this afternoon for us to tomorrow, all day tomorrow, this may take a bit of a dip coming through. But all right, I want to show you exactly what is causing this and what the situation has been. So this is the obviously temperatures. And we're going to go up and have a look at around the 700 hectopascal region, which is about 3 kilometers above the surface. And this is what is causing, of course, wind is going to play up. Actually, it's a bit higher than I think. This is generally what is causing it, this massive slab of cold upper air. And you can see the jet stream keeping that sort of warmer air up to the north of it, which is allowing this cold pool to get rolling right up into the further north than normally goes, and that's not. That was a bit higher than. Here we go. It's about 600. And you can see this is what it's running. You can see like almost -20 degrees, like this slab of cold air. And this has been flung off the polar vortex. And it's also connected with what's going on with that southern stratospheric warming activity. We saw that the vortex, as we told you a couple of weeks ago, would be disturbed. And this is one of the indications that it's disturbed. And also then the SAM or the southern annual mode, one of the climate factors, also looks out for and sort of gives you an indication about this sort of thing happening, because again, a positive SAM, a negative SAM. Positive SAM means that those westerly winds have been displaced, which is normally that the vortex is sort of pushed further north, and of course the negative one is that the vortex is sort of pushed back towards Antarctica, which allows that warmer, obviously more tropical air to push in south, so we get more sort of northern rain events. So this is really what's driving this at the moment, and you can see that as it pushes towards the coast, still quite cold, and then everything happens in response to this happening. But we weren't even speculating yesterday why that it does POQ pretty quickly on Sunday, and you can see why. Look at this temperature differential here. So you've got minus 17 right now, so you can see it's starting to actually warm up by a few degrees, but and then look at the air behind it, nearly 20 degrees warmer. And this is why when it gets into the weekend, we see this sort of low explode. We wondered why. What happens to that sort of beautiful looking sort of low, and you can see that mild air just absolutely ramming behind it as the jet stream sort of wraps around and starts to push off, except when windy is not going to update for us. But here comes that milder air now. So you can see, the difference pushes that colder air way off to the east, which is what we saw that, that system developing out there to the northeast. And you can see this mild air pushing through quite quickly. So, which is why we'll see sort of a different a few days early next week, a bit drier and a bit milder. And that's in anticipation of this next system coming through. Windy is going to be really annoying to update, but we should show you. The temperatures down here for this next system, you can see, let's try just a photo refresh. It really doesn't like. Look at this. This is a slab of the polar vortex absolutely coming this way. And this is just going to really drive me insane, but anyway. Now, EC doesn't get it quite as far north, but Axis does. Axis gets it up quite far up into here. And I can tell you that some of this cold air, upper cold air, gets anywhere further up. Look out, because it's definitely going to develop some, definitely on the coastal trough, or even probably east coast later, because that is seriously super cold air. So that is really what's been going on today. And you can see over us, it's minus 15 is the air over us at this stage. So that's why it's been super cold, because that showers have dragged down that cold air with it. And that's why we're having these continual sort of showers. Normally we don't get these beautiful sort of chunky showers this way, but this upper cold pool is really helping actually drag those showers in and helping them, kick on and get us some decent rainfall. So quite an unusual situation and quite a very, very cold upper airstream. When you look at that. Alrighty, let's go in and we'll now go into we'll use your winds and we'll zoom in. Oh, I actually just want to show you before I do that. I'll just have a quick look at what some falls between anomalies in the city, but yeah, temps pretty freaking cold, to be honest. And we'll look at the model first before I look at the next thing. I actually want to just check the forecast and show you how it's bumped up actually before we hop in. So you can see here now 35 to 80. I think yesterday was not even 60. And then 9 to 25 on Sunday. So you add them together, it's 105 mils, at the upper ends. So then that's a pretty big upgrade from what they were just yesterday. So obviously something in Axis is flagging a potential for increase, especially in those big sort of bumper totals. All right, we're going to zoom in. Let's just focus on us and some winds, and we're going to look at, we need to zoom in a little bit just so we can see where that system's going to develop, I guess. Let's go wind gusts. Let's go current situation, which you can see that's southeast. You can see that, actually, better zoom out a bit. You can see that that coastal trough dipping down here. You can see that by way that there's ice streams and wind streams that just have that little knifey sort of bend in it, and you can see, as this just showed you on the surface, you can see here the surface trough is well off the coast, not well off the coast up there, and then it extends down and sort of just laying near us, and that's going to hang around sort of into overnight for us. And then tomorrow we'll see as that cold air approaches off the coast, we can see how it's just going to start drawing all this air in. It's going to be a bit of a hole off Newcastle there, and this is where we get to watch out. Now you can see there's the trough itself with a bit of a vorticity in it, not really low. You can see just the response is actually a massive slab of air, whereas before, if you remember yesterday, there wasn't this response. It was mainly up on the north coast, and I think that's definitely what flagged me out and did a red flag that something's changed in the models again. Now, I hope it's not 20 minutes as it has been in the last few days, but this is a pretty significant upgrade in terms of the fetch of these winds, and this is going to guarantee us some pretty decent showers and rain because the winds are coming from way out. Now, the main convergence part is up there on the north coast, as we can see, but still we can see these winds are hitting the coast and then dying, which is a good recipe for actually good showers and rain. And you can see then there are graphic fix going to happen across the Great Dividing Range. So that is a huge change from yesterday. Remember, these winds yesterday were basically out here where these dark colours were into stopping, and then we're having this green over us. So that's probably the uptick in the rainfall forecast. And you can see here now they're really pushing into us throughout tomorrow. Now, there's not going to be anything extreme at this stage unless something massively changes, but still, there's going to be some good heavy rainfall around like there has been this afternoon and this evening, and will continue overnight now. Some pretty isolated stuff, but it should become more scattered, you'd think. And you can see as it slowly sinks down, really the focus is again where basically the severe weather warning is out. But still, that area here we saw yesterday was well off the coast, and it's a lot closer to us, which means that we should get better chances of rainfall. And then, of course, you can see now how this is starting to get quite weird and sort of wonky, and there's no real area of focus. That's the colder air going across, starting into the Tasman now, and that's the focus will start to shift up to that northeast area where that low is expected to develop. And you can see here in that top northeast corner here with those dark color winds, there's a massive low, and you can see the responses that just throwing a whole lot of air up. So, which is another reason why I think the Bureau has increased their totals to possibly 25 mils on Sunday as well, because you can see here, even though they've got that bit more of a sort of southeaster kink, that they're quite strong, and it's going to ram any showers that are forming up there across. Now, there won't be persistent or consistent rain that you'll normally get with like the trough that's sitting on top of you, or even an east coast low, but all that chunky snake-looking skin air, clouds out off the coast there are all got showers with it. That's going to be all starting to be dragged across the coast. So that's what we'll see probably through until Wednesday lunchtime. You can see here where the winds start to back off quite clearly. And that more southerly flow starts to push up, which is basically the death signal for us anyway in terms of rainfall. Still some some showery stuff here Sunday evening, depending on just exactly. And you can see really quickly pushing back as that low and sort of bombs away, and then as that mild air comes in the upper levels, really just turns into sort of a broad low / trough, and then really buggers off and leaves us alone. So that's EC. I didn't even check if that's updated. That's on this morning, so that'd be interesting if it's not. Oh, thank God it updated 20 minutes ago. Well, there you go. So thank you, Mike, giving me some issues for 5 minutes. It's actually allowed EC to update. Beautiful. All right, let's have a look at what GFS is quickly showing, and we'll hop into the rainfall. We'll look at them a bit more in depth. GFS is pretty much showing what we're EC, and again, consistent. So they're now sort of starting to get some consensus finally. Really this broad area of winds now, which is what's going to really drive the showers. And that's thanks to that massive area of cold air, that upper cold pool inlands sucking this in. You can see these quite strong winds here, quite through into, again, Sunday. So EC and GFS are pretty much on the same page, which is pretty scary in terms of that. Let's have a look at what the old German icon is saying. Again, you can see the coastal trough, surface trough that bends all the way down. Icon's a bit different. You can see actually it has really off the coast at this stage, so it's a little bit wrong already because we are getting those big meaty showers already. And it's not having those winds develop as much in instancy, but then you can see they start to develop. But again, you can see they're still a bit further off the coast. This is much what the icon was showing yesterday in Axis and EC. So the difference is now GFS and EC have now brought this sort of pinky color right onto the coast, which means that the showers and stuff will form in response to, the surface trough and those winds being dragged in. You can see how the lines that are on here, the wind streams are coming in together and sort of squeezing together. That sort of convergence, that helps form showers and push them across the coast. And so the closer that these pinky colors are to the coast, which means those strong winds, the more chance that showers are going to arrive unimpeded and basically dump their goodness all over us. You can see here the trough here, definitely a bit further north on icon than EC and GFS have had. So that's a huge difference already. You can see it stays up further. Although icon does bring some stronger winds in Saturday night, especially you can see it right now. And it now starts to slow down the coast. And then starts to weaken early Sunday morning as that colder air pushes off the north coast, and the focus starts up there in the northeast on that developing sort of low that's going to bomb up there. And then you can see it start to withdraw that Sunday as that low does develop and suck everything away towards it. And then that milder air in the upper levels comes through and starts to disrupt everything and shunt it all through to New Zealand and southeast. All right, so icon's a little bit on its own at this stage. Let's have a look at what axis and axis C are showing, and then I'll pull up some rainfall stuff for you. I'll get into that. Um, Again, surface trough, pretty much what we're seeing. Good signals, um, access holding things off. As you can see, which is interesting because I can see what it's doing here now. So you can see, um, interesting scenario, axis is completely different to what we've seen on the other three models so far. So you can see here, there's a little kick in the wind streams through us only, and then a bit of a hole over Gloucester, and then again through Newcastle. So there's a real sort of focus, a bit more of a conversion area here at the end of that trough. So the trough's not really like linear, like in a line. It's sort of in different sort of impacts there. And then, of course, as it starts to develop, you can see this massive area pushing in, and you can see just we're on like a bit of a divergent stream there. You can see so some wind streams are going up through the central coast, and you can see some are going down to the Illawarra there. So that's going to be interesting. And then whack, here comes the surge of winds in as that trough uh, slips southwards and increases and intensifies. You can see quite nasty there, just in Port Macquarie, but it's still further north than the other models had it. And again, timing really pushing. You can see those winds now really pushing into us. And just coincidentally, the further that gets south before that cold pool gets across uh, into the northern Tasman and the southern Coral Seas, the better for us and our rainfall chances. Um, and this is why Axis is hanging on, because you see it still hasn't really developed that other system enough to actually drag away. So you can see it's just starting to drag away the flow now, but there's still quite a focus. And you can see how those winds are coming in, all those lines, those wind streams coming in, colliding with each other. That's areas where there's going to be some pretty good rain. That's convergence, and then you get great rainfall there. And then you can see now that that system's starting to drag and suck everything away. So that's pretty why we had the upturn in the rainfall figures with regards to Beer and Axis today. Let's have a look at what Axis C is showing, which is their higher level model now. So it'll only give us like 36 hours at most. You can see some pretty good falls still through to tonight and pushing in. You can see this see how this sort of speckly model look. That's that cold air. Just the different sort of isolated cells and within it as it pushes ashore. Some good rainfall there. These are all winds obviously, but not rain. But you can see these all indicate basically clumps of rain. So where there's sort of these sort of dotted pimply looks, you can basically there's going to be rainfall. And then let's see what it does in response to that trough. Look at that, starts to really ramp up. Yeah, Axis C is definitely showing there's quite a surge of very strong winds coming ashore, but only in the coast. You can see again it's going to have that plowing into the coast, and then sort of that with it basically eases off, and then you can see that orographic effect as it then has to lift over the Great Dividing Range of the Blue Mountains, and then obviously we'll generate some orographic showers and rain definitely for the Blue Mountains on that scenario. Anyway, you can see again persisting with those quite strong winds plowing into the coast, and that's the end of the Axis C, doesn't it? Goes to 4 a.m. So, interesting. All right, let's have a look at some rainfall for you now. And we'll start with let's see, we'll go to accumulation. Yeah, it's pretty better in terms. Well, spoilers, I should have said. All right, let's start from now, basically in the model run, which is at 4 o'clock it came out. So let's go through to tonight. We'll just do it in 12-hour parts so we can get it more detailed. So you can see already, like I was saying before, one click to me, just how far behind it is. So I think it's definitely like probably 6 to 10 hours. We need to sort of factor in 6 to 10 hours because we can see here 6 millimeters from to now tonight. I can't get back. There's still some pretty good showers. I'm liking these sort of rain trains that are getting actually into the Blue Mountains. So that means that's a good sign for me anyway. That all right, let's go 12 hours. So let's go to 6 a.m. tomorrow. All right, that's not really 12 hours, is it? That's 8 hours. Yeah, brain. Anyway, we'll just do 8 hours. So you can see, again, this sort of streaky nature of it. And you can see that there's some places getting some quite a lot and then other places sort of missing out. So access is very much hit and miss so far. Let's go now. We'll go 6 a.m. through to the next period of time. And then you can see this increase basically from tomorrow morning through to tomorrow, sort of just afternoon. Pretty big falls there, especially like just to the south here, 40 mils around Milensburg, and that's that orographic effect of that the escarpment there just north of Illawarra. Scenic coast seeming to do well. It's pretty much like what we saw today, actually. Let's get into 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see that streaky line stuff as that surface trough now starts to really develop and organise. And you can see that how it starts to bring those lines of showers. You can see here why there's that warning up in the Hunter and the southern north coast. Some pretty good falls there. Just seeing probably reflecting what Access was showing there, which is interesting. As far as we can go, and you can see they're actually starting to spread to the south. Really nothing much on there that deserves that massive upgrade. That's interesting in itself. All right, let's get it right this time. We'll go now. When it is, and 6 to 6 will be 12 hours. Let's do 12-hour blocks. There we go. All right, we'll change it to, we'll go EC. Who's next on the list? Of course, EC is going to do just a little bit different. Okay, so it's still going for some pretty good rainfall overnight, to be honest. And continue, especially on those coastal fringes, no surprises there. Let's hop into then tomorrow, we'll go 7 to 7. Yeah, really picking up some decent falls. Nothing still quite widespread, but still pretty consistent. You know, up to 20 mils for that 12-hour period, which is still pretty heavy. If you think about that, 20 mils every 12 hours means that's 40 mils in a day, which is not bad. Won't sneeze at that. And definitely that sort of hole we had in the southwest has definitely put up a lot more. So they'll be happy down there. The mayor of Canberra will be very happy that his lawns will get some water up there, so he continues his business. Shout out to the lawn doctor as usual. All right, and still persisting from Saturday night into Sunday morning. In fact, it's probably going to get heavier, I think, and definitely Sunny Coast. You can see that that band that was up to the upper hundreds is actually shifting to the southwest and to the south. So this is what I was saying before, that if that shifts just another 30, 40, 50 kilometres, even 100 kilometres, then obviously that will lay across us. So that's what we're going to be watching for. But still some pretty big falls, you know, up to nearly 50 mils in the northern part of us and still up to nearly 20 mils down in the south. And I expect we'll see some pretty rapid clearing here as we push into Sunday and it goes off. Still some residual showers left over, which is most likely going to be from that sort of late morning Sunday through to the sort of early afternoon, but still not bad, I guess, after what we saw last night. I think that's probably the end of that, I imagine. Maybe some leftover stuff hanging around. Yeah. All right, let's go back to here and we'll pull up year old and get far away soon. And it's 12 hours, so let's go. I mean, it loves us tonight. Look at that. Nearly 30 mils, 20 to 30 mils across most of the basin tonight, which we'll be all appreciative of. And into Saturday now, the 12 hours, 7 to 7. Still some pretty good falls, especially across the northern areas in the Central Coast into the inland areas of the Central Coast. Not so much in the Hunter, so interesting sort of signal there from GFS. All right, let's go to 7 and 7. It's like watching a train go, isn't it? Yeah, so you can see here now, really big focus up here on the Hunter, and that's where that trough, you can see again what I was saying with that sort of delineation between the two flows. So you can see here the trough slash developing system starting to suck the stuff away, and we sort of get these residual sort of stream showers, but you know, nothing major or heavy, but still, you know, 15, 20 mils out of that will still be welcome. And then pushing into Sunday, expect it's going to be pretty clearing off pretty quickly. Yeah, during the 12 hours, 7 in the morning to 7, still some residual sort of leftover stuff, mostly on the coast. And then I would imagine after that, basically goodbye. Still a couple of little coastal showers hanging around. All right, last but not least, we have, I've got 2 more. Let's go for the old icon. I expect this is going to be a lot drier than what we've seen. pretty much coastal stuff, which is already wrong because it's actually pushing quite well into the west. We've already seen that, so bear that in mind as we see this. And across the day, again, who cares? It's almost 12 hours. You can see the difference already, automatically. Some push through into the west with icon, but mostly coastal. And again, that focus up in that northern Hunter and southern mid-north coast. But very much a coastal scenario. What we saw those winds, and I was pointing out to you when looking at the wind streams about how it would just basically not really push through. Let's have a look. Overnight Saturday into Sunday now, really not much for us at all. In fact, we just go, when we go out there, we don't look at them. Okay, not much of us at all on that. I did sort of play that. I think it's pretty, in the icon scenario, not a lot at all. Let's go and have a look now. 7 to 7. Again, a little few residual scuddy stuff, and that's pretty more Sunday morning through to lunchtime. And all over the rover, and then pushing into Sunday night, nothing there, into Monday morning. Alrighty, let's look at access and let's see the reason for is excitement. Now, the only thing I can think of is actually it's not actually access itself; it's the bureau's ADFD model, which is the what they run the meta out of. So we'll definitely have a look at that for you as well and see what it's saying because we can look at that in batches. All right, so here's access, some good falls. In fact, it's this up pretty well so far. Some good orographic falls too. So looking pretty wet on access overnight tonight. And then pushing into tomorrow. Yeah, I cannot see why it's meant for 80 mils. So it's obviously something in the Bureau's ADFD model. We'll pull that up right up next and have a look. Because that's not screaming the upgrade they've given it and they put it to the public. Still good falls there, but that's actually much of a downgrade if you look actually that. All right, let's go into 7 to 7 now. Yeah, I mean, look at that. That's not 100 mils, even 80 mils at all. When you add those figures up, that's pretty more 40 or 50. So interesting. So ADFD must be a little bit more excited than Axis is because that's basically almost all over Red Rover there. All right, let's have a look into Sunday morning. A little bit off there by 1 hour, but yeah. Some residual coastal showers, but basically they'll be by lunchtime all over Red Rover, I think. And let's look into Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening. Still some coastal showers hanging around, not bad. That's pretty it, I think, into Monday. Let's have a look. Yeah, just maybe a scuddy shower, early leftover shower early Monday morning. Looking at that on access, but not much there. All right, we'll quickly look at we're going to look at the accumulated service, and here I'll bring it up on actually the better model to see. So we'll have a look. All right, let's start. This is access C. So this is actually basically from Friday through to Saturday evening. 36 hours is as long as it goes. So you can see what I was saying before about that streaky nature of the chat, the cloud. Now, I still think this is an issue with Windy, the way it displays stuff, because if you look at this this image here, and it looks pretty significantly different to what we just saw there in terms of rainfall, but some pretty good falls there, up to 90 mils around the city, the coast, and then extremely inland, you've got that orographic effect. So definitely, all right, let's see. All right, let's have a look at Mr. G. We'll look at Access G. All righty, so this is for 240 hours. We don't want 240 hours. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up that and we'll just look at Saturday alone. So you can see what we saw before, that huge hole in the southwest. So they'll be making the mayor of Camden pretty lament, gnash and wail, gnash his teeth and wail, no doubt. And you can see here that hole, which very much indicates that those winds aren't sort of dying down on the coast. They're still sort of pushing through, and you can see they dump their load on the coast, and then they then, whatever's left in is squeezed out by the orographic effect on the Blue Mountains. And of course, the western end of the metro will definitely get some good falls out of that because of as that air gets lifted over the Great Dividing Range. And into Sunday, I'm expecting that's going to be pretty much dead. Still some good showers from the city up into that northeast. The mayor of Freshwater will be very happy about that. No doubt, but yeah, that's pretty much all right. Let's have a look at GFS. We'll do that breakdown just like we saw. Unfortunately, I have to reset this every time. It's freaking annoying, but okay. You can see, so that bit of that tunnel of moisture that I was showing, that southeast sort of surge, that disturbance we were watching. Definitely the central coast, the northern part of it, Southern Hunter, into the back here. Some good falls up here, actually, the Penrith and Richmond and that too. So, and pushing in towards Blacktown and probably the Hills area up to 50 mils on GFS anyway. And into Sunday, some residual stuff left over, probably clearing by lunchtime, but a lot, bit of a orographic effect there for the Blue Mountains. But yeah, not much there for that. Now we should get all these variants. Let's have a look at the UK is now this morning. All right, let's go to Saturday. So it's pretty much backed up access. In fact, it's almost a mirror image, maybe not as intense, but you can see it doesn't have as much of a hole either. So that's pretty good for some of those areas. Pretty much 25 to 40 mils across most of the basin. Definitely that 80 mil fall that we've seen flagged by the Bureau, which is interesting. ADFD is coming up soon. And you see again that rapid withdrawal on Sunday associated with the system developing in the northeast Tasman and dragging everything away. All right, PC, let's go. Now, you just double check this is actually 0 to 0. Yeah, it's beautiful. All right, so click, click, click. It's not going to all of it. And Saturday there, which is the moon day. So, no, it hasn't got all of it. You can see it's only got 9 hours in. So, unfortunately, I'll just get down in the 80 instead and give us what we can, best we can. All right, so Saturday we can see, again, 40 to 50 mils on the coast, but nothing like the we've seen so far. But EC does like to spread the love right across the whole basin, which is not bad. And still some residual stuff hanging around into the Sunday, early Sunday and lunchtime. We did see that with EC, didn't we? We did see some stuff persisting a bit after lunch on Sunday, whereas everything else on the other models did disappear quite quickly. And you can see that orographic sort of bulge down there. And that, of course, is the influence of that escarpment into the north of the Illawarra. The Wollongong, what did it say for today in the 18Z? See how accurate it was? Not bad. This mass is pushed a bit further to the southwest, so they're not bad though in terms of, you know, that blob. Not bad at all. Okay, you're going to CMC, our friends in Canada, as I always call it. All right, let's go and we'll check what Canada had for us for today. Yeah, I mean, it's already wrong because that hole got rain already today, so you can put a big question mark here. All right, so pretty much what the others were sort of saying, that sort of bulge associated with the trough developing of obviously the surface trough and perhaps an embedded low, not sort of locked in yet. Not much orographic effect there. You can see how so this onion layer effect. So, and then in some of the other sort of secondary sort of bite in the bottom here, interestingly enough. And then Sunday, great focus, and I think that's what GFS was showing. That will end up sort of. I think Canada is CMC is off quite a bit there, so we can probably throw that one in the trash. All right, let's have a look at Icon. It's got to show for itself. We saw it before; it was pretty flat, but yeah, pretty still flat. A bit of orographic effect, but generally all up there. So we'll put that one aside as well. This is the EC AI model. So we'll have a look what it's showing for itself. So pretty much what we've seen so far in terms of obviously main activity here, sort of you can see this sort of layered onion effect coming down here. And so it's actually saying more of the surface trough laying down here as opposed to those stream showers coming in that we've seen in other models, which is interesting in itself. General widespread 15 to 40, but it's definitely not 80s there. And rapidly retreating on the Sunday, which is not surprising. How'd it go for today? Yeah, off the mark for today, so interesting there. All right, here's the model of the moment, the Bureau's ADFD, which is what runs their METI and no doubt what they. And this is 06Z, so this is obviously 06 is UTC or Universal Time Coordinate, or also known as Z for Zulu. That means that the data that this model has used is from about 4 a.m. this morning, whereas the 001s you've seen, it's not, sorry, I'm confusing myself with 12Z. 00 is from like early this morning. This is actually this afternoon's data, 06. Well, that's when the models run anyway, so it's pretty fresh off the old servers. All right, so it's a bit slower to load, so we'll just let it do its thing. So this is what I had for today. A little bit off the mark, but at least we have those showers pushing in, which we've seen, but still, now the coast has seen a bit more than 15 mils, but okay, let's have a look what it's showing for Saturday. Yeah, each showing what, 60 mils? I mean, that's better. And this is 12 to 12, so if I was to change it to bureau time, which is 9 to 9, maybe that's what they're sort of saying. It's even worse. I mean, that's better. That definitely did pick up some of those good falls today. Not out here, but that's worse for them. Yeah, I'm not too sure why they upgraded that to 80 mils, to be fair. So obviously something's going on. They're expecting that perhaps the surface trough to hang around, be a bit more active, be a bit deeper, maybe that push a bit further south, which means it will actually be sort of the outer bands or outer edges of it, as opposed to sort of just being disconnected like we are at the moment, or the cold air maybe come a bit further southeast than what's expected. Not sure why the upgrade to 80 mils is about. There's nothing here screaming 80 mils. I mean, we won't say no. Um, Still some good showers though into tomorrow. Maybe that's what they're sort of saying 60 here, plus a 20 by 9 a.m. tomorrow. Perhaps that's 80. That definitely does make some sense there. So perhaps that's what there's a bit of an artifact there. So they're saying basically that from midnight to about 9 a.m. tomorrow, it's going to be another sort of 15 to 20 mils fall. And that from 9 a.m. tomorrow is going to be that sort of 60 odd fall. And that gets up. That could possibly work. I think that's pretty what they're saying. Um, yeah, that definitely adds up a bit better. So if we take that sort of stretched, very warped math and logic, that says places like, most of the places here, so sort of invests between 30 to 40 is on here. What we do there tomorrow, 30 to 40 plus, 10 to 20. So what's that, 40 to 60, 40 to 70? It's probably about right, maybe a bit less. Not sure, but I mean, we'll take any extra millimeter we can get. When it comes to rainfall, size absolutely does matter. Um, that's all I can just. That's all I can be thinking is that's. But even when it's in a night, it's not a night. To be fair, 40 mils. Not sure. I mean, you know, it is what it is. I'm not sure. All I can say is that's what they've forecast. So stretching the friendship to suggest this is probably what it is going to be. Maybe they've obviously picked up something that's more mega scale localized that the models aren't. They've got maybe their high res internal models that they don't get us to have a look at is picking up something. Um, well, let's have a look. We've got Axis C, which is something they do use. That is their internal one of their. It is the highest resolution model in Australia at 1.5 kilometers already to 1.7 kilometers resolution, if I recall. So perhaps that is it. Let's have a look. Saturday. You can see here. Let's change a bit since we saw. Oh, the 0.6 out. There you go. So you've got it's fresh off the. Okay, well then that's even worse for the bureau because that's completely different to what we just seen. That's actually going down. It's not going up. I mean, better for every area here because it's consistent all right across there. We can see some places are actually worse off. What's going on here? Let's try the 9 to 9, which is what they tend to do. Even worse. They're not reading there because that's the end of the old data. You don't go that far. I don't know, there's definitely some good stuff down here. There's only 50 mils, there's nothing close to 80. That's all time. That's all 36 hours. I just don't know. Anyway, we could sit here and speculate all night and waste time, but I'm not going to do that. That's what the forecast. The forecast. We'll go back and let's have a look at other places. So, I mean, issued at 420. So, I'm going to refresh and make sure I'm not just being disingenuous. I'll look at the warnings. Let's have a look. We've got severe weather warning. Yep, no doubt about that. We can see why in that area there, the damaging winds and rainfall, and there's no surprise for that. We just saw the models show that's for the greatest area. As a surf, obviously, please be aware of that. Nothing else, no flood watches, nothing there. So other than rain wind warning, no surprise there. Where would I find most of the rest of the forecast? I could get onto the map, don't I? It's probably the best way to do it. Hit this map plane. Let's have a look. Some of the figures they got here. No rain for Hornsby. Sorry, Hornsby, you got 0 rain. Penrith. Okay, so which we're going to detail 20 to 40. What we've seen 20 to 40. They won't pass of it 20 to 40. I imagine. Let's look at Hornsby's got 20 to 45. I don't get that. Let's look at mine about 25. Okay. On every single one we've seen, Northeast will do far better than anywhere across most of the basin tomorrow. And yet, 25 to 50. I just don't get that. Bondi in the same forecast now, cute. 40 to 90. Right. Okay. No model we've seen so far has even close to 90 in one day. Anyway, it's an upgrade. It's a massive upgrade. What we've seen, that's what we've got for the year-old airport. 35 to 80, much like the CBD. I mean, you've got to say that the coastal strip then is definitely looking at, especially in that from around pretty Manly through south, it's really looking at probably 25 to 60 in Penarth. Yeah, only across the Botany Bay there, it's up to 90 at Bondi. Yeah, something's not making sense, is it? Not sure what the go with that is. It's a fairly detailed. Anyway, let's have a look what's the old Camden Town going to get Glenn out there. 30 mils, he'd be happy with that. That'll get the grass going. What about Mr. Dine out in Campbelltown? It says Campbelltown, no, I mean Camden. I was reading Campbelltown, 35 mils at Campbelltown. Mr. Dine, happy about that. What about Mr. Well out there in detailed Hiltonsville or where it is, or Hicksville, or sorry, I mean Westville. 45 mils, not bad. You'll be happy with that too, no doubt. All right. Anyway, I'm not going to complain. If we get that, we get that. Enjoy. Otherwise, let's go to some. We'll stick the radar back up and we'll go and get some questions going and lament with each other about exactly what we're going to tomorrow. We'll have that link in the background. We'll do an hour, but it needs to get over. Actually, might put the forecast radar on. So this thing there. See what's coming in. All right, there we go. We've got shitty microphone. Yeah, we fix that. Shitty microphone. We fix that. Yeah. Have a wine. Yeah, I'll actually have a wine. No, actually, I don't drink wine. Storm puts me amongst the cables. No, he doesn't touch cables at all. That's the cat, thank God. Any sabotaging in life. Yeah, Freaks is not here though. So maybe it's a certain weather page. Maybe they're coming gaslight me. Needs to be louder. Sounds like modulation when you speak. Routing link OBS Studio. So I don't think I need one OBS Studio at all, other than just the normal mic setting. I'm not sure. I would. My God, lots of chat about everything else. No many questions. Budgie smugglers, I'll pass that one up. Green budget smugglers, oh my God, I must be very serious out there. Raining steadily, yeah, it's been the rain's been so beautiful here today. It's just been hammering out, and it's been cold, icy cold, and just almost Surprised there wasn't any hail, to be honest. Um, Hello, Ash. Lovely to see you. Better late than never. I don't think you made it. That's been better. Feed the offspring. Yeah, I don't do that. Well, not offspring, but full cats how you dinner so you can. I'm not going to feed myself soon. Still sounds a bit cracked. I'm not sure why. I am sitting right next to it. I'm not sure that is. Bit iffy. It's hard to follow because of it by doing my best to stick it out. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I'm literally sitting right in front of the and it's actually really loud, so I don't know what's going on. I have no filters on it whatsoever. I wouldn't know how to put filters on it, to be honest. Um, I just wonder what it is tonight. Don't know. I've looked at all the screen captures off. It's not that. It's not that. Nothing feedback or change the modulation to voice isolation. It's could be something in the settings, maybe in my Mac settings that I haven't tweaked over. But I know you've got to actually do when you use OBS, you've got to like create this virtual type microphone. Maybe that's what the problem is. I don't know. It says on everything's working pretty cool. It was working for work today. The microphone. So it's not the microphone. Um, Input. Let's have a look. Input. It says the volume input level is high. Just put up as well. It is Road Connect Stream, Road Connect System, Road Connect Virtual. Maybe that's what it is. I don't dare touch it now in case it goes haywire. Oh, let's try it. 1 2 1 2. No. 1 2 1 2. No. 1 2 1 2. No. Can't hear that, can you? Can you hear that at all? Because I've gone to the virtual now and it says it's disappeared altogether. Oh, maybe not. Can you hear it at all? Guys, let me know in the chat. You can hear it. It says it is. They're just over modulating. Yeah, because I was going through different. What about that? Can you hear that? Oh my! I was switching through. There's 4 different types. There's just the NC. There's the normal USB, the mic one, and then got a Connect Stream, a Connect System, and a Connect Virtual. So I was trying each different one of them. Is this clear? No, not much better. All right, I'm going back to the virtual. Is that better? That's really loud. So if I turn that down, maybe that's the overall modulating. Is that better that way? Might work out. It's better. Might work out. It might be one of these ones. Well, John, turning off. Yeah, of course I tried turning it off. I'll just pull the plug out. Actually, I didn't pull the plug out. I'm not sure how that would go because I think it would actually disconnect OBS. So I did that, and that would create chaos. There's budget setting. What about this one? This is the stream setting for Rode. Is that better? I think it's going to change actually. I'll go back and listen to the stream itself, see if I can identify what the noise is. I think it's got to be some sort of, there's something in the background causing it. I think one of the things maybe. I don't know what it is. The settings are exactly the same as it was yesterday. I've touched nothing. I didn't have time to touch anything. Let me put it back to here. I said that's different. I mean, no, it's the same chord. Like there's nothing changed. Nothing has moved since yesterday. Not pulled anything out. It's a USB-C, so it's not a dodgy cord. I'll check over here. Now I've lost stream altogether. Ah, am I back? Yep. I just disconnected and replugged it back in the USB-C. So let me know if that's different. No, Stormcat doesn't touch the cords. You're not interested in a computer. It doesn't. It, you don't like it. The fan noise runs away. Doesn't like it at all. Oh, he's better, is it? Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know what that is. That's bizarre. Anyway, Bob's your uncle had the best idea. Just pull the USB-C out and put it back in again. That's all I did. I didn't do anything else. All right. Well, maybe there was a driver in the actual Thunderbolt hub for some reason. Maybe just didn't load correctly, or I forced it to the driver to reload. That's probably what the issue is, I'd say. Well, we fixed it anyway. All good. I'll go back and listen to the rest of it, see what it sounds like. No, we said that scratchy noise. Now we know what it is. All right, well, I think that's about it. We got any other questions? I think tomorrow is, I'm not sure what is the go, but anyway, you can see on the radar in the background there, it's been looping. That forecast radar shows some pretty heavy showers moving in from the east and the southeast or southeast. So I think we can look forward to some more stuff happening overnight, which would be great, I'm sure. And we'll wake up and see just what sort of totals are. It's actually hammering down here right now. Wow, it is really throwing it down. I'm under that big orangey blob that you can see just here to the right of the D of Sutherland. Actually, no, just above the D of Sutherland. It's just booking down. Alright, I am going to did sound a little Dalek with COVID, yeah. I have probably got COVID. Anyway, I'm going to get off here. Thank you so much again for your company, everybody. We will keep you updated, obviously, throughout the day tomorrow if we can see any sort of signs of flash flooding or developing. So keep your notice on. Otherwise, it has been a pleasure as usual, and I hope you all have a great night. Stay warm. It's going to be freaking cold, even though it may only get down to like 10 degrees, maybe 6 degrees out the Mayor of Camden way, but yeah, it's going to be cold. So rug up. Tomorrow is going to be just as cold too, probably even colder, probably 11 to 13, I say, maybe even lower, maybe just depends exactly how much wind we get. Otherwise, have a fantastic one. It is a pleasure to have your company as usual. And I'll leave you with some dulcet tones. Mr. Preston's favourite time of the night. Ciao.